violence, you might say no.
But chances are you do know someone, because 1 in 4 women are victims. The problem is many victims hide that fact and sometimes end up losing their lives because of it. Tonight, in our ongoing series, Protect, Defend, Survive, we talk with the family of a Parker woman killed by her ex-boyfriend. They chose to share their story because they don't want what happened to them to happen to somebody else.
I just miss having her around. Someone that used to protect me and guide me.
She was taken away so too soon, you know, and it shouldn't have been her time.
It's hard enough to lose your mother or your daughter, but it's nearly unbearable when you think you could have done something to prevent it.
Every day you think about that. You know, what could have I done or said or so that she would have let me in?
Just should have told us. I don't know, I should at least tell us where she was going.
Where Denise Fransua was going, her family now believes, was to finally put an end to an abusive 16-year relationship with boyfriend Steve Romero. It would be the last time they would ever see her.
I remember my grandma saying on the phone that it's on the news, it's on the news.
Police are investigating 2 deaths inside a home in West Denver.
Ron, the call came in over the police scanner.
Saw breaking news.
Multiple gunshot wounds, one self-inflicted right inside this home right here.
I was just shocked. Right away I knew it had to have been him, but I never thought he would actually go as far as to kill her.
But looking back, they now believe there were signs things weren't right.
You know, he would shout, he would slam the door, but he never would, hit her. It was never clear violence. It was more psychological that he did.
And he was always so nice to other people. Like, he played it off like he was the nicest man in the world.
But despite the problems at home, nobody ever thought the man they'd known for more than a decade was capable of something like this.
Never.
As things got worse, Denise finally confided in her older son.
I remember my mom telling me she was scared and she was upset, and she's like, he told me that he has a gun somewhere in the house and he's not afraid to use it.
So, with the help of her family, Denise got a restraining order.
When my mom had the restraining order, we thought that he would leave her alone.
And for the next 10 months, it did seem as though Denise was moving on with her life. She earned her master's degree in criminal justice and was set to start teaching at the college level, fulfilling a lifelong dream. But no one knew she was still in contact with Romero. Denise kept private and shared very little with anyone. And what makes it so ironic is that she, as a probation officer, and her father, a social worker, both worked and counseled domestic violence victims.
The irony of this happening to your own daughter must just be unimaginable.
Well, you feel, enough guilt about it, and then you just feel like you really failed when it came to your own daughter.
She had all the information, but when it comes to emotions, sometimes it all goes out the door. Somehow, her trying to be strong, she didn't let us in when she knew we would help her.
In an effort to protect others, she failed to protect herself, leaving behind a confused and devastated family.
It's so confusing because we never thought we'd be in this situation, never.
I think she was too strong.
In what way?
And not telling me, and not talking to me. If she just would have said something, I would have listened. I would have been there.
Now, if you're a victim of domestic violence or you know someone who is, there is help available right now. We have Linda Johnston, Director of Ending Violence Against Women, in our chat room right now. She is ready to answer your questions about domestic violence, restraining orders, whatever you want to ask. And she'll be here throughout the newscast. Tomorrow night, we continue our series with a very personal story. You know her as Natalie Tisdale, news anchor and host of Everyday. But what happened to her in college happens all too often, and most of the time goes unreported. Tomorrow night, for the first time in 20 years, Natalie shares her story.
And I tried to push him away, and he didn't want anything to do with that.
to Natalie and how her actions to stop the violence came full circle. That's tomorrow night at 9.
Breaking news this evening.